That's a pretty state. Jumbo, you see what I see?
Hello, ladies and gents. I hope everyone's having a wonderful day. I wish I could say I was having a wonderful day, but we'll get into that tonight. And this is Nicole Kapuscinski. I'll be your host this evening for the podcast. Of course, Catherine's indisposed this evening. She's got charts to do. She's had quite a handful last couple weeks dealing with her business and her daughter moving back to town and then having to get her relocated and then still keep up with all her patients. So she's not going to be tuning in this evening, but nonetheless, we're going to be talking about everything that's been going on with us for the last couple weeks, to include the newest round of complaints that we have had filed on us after the May primary. And I don't know, who knows what, or I can't even see who's all tuned in right now. I can see there's several viewers popping on. Okay. See, I'm going to take you over here to my Facebook. Let's get you tuned in over here. So, okay. So tonight's episode, we titled it, The 1,285 Voters Disenfranchised in Madison County, the Indiana Republican Convention Fallout. So many of you know, many of you don't know, but I won the Indiana Delegate for Madison County District 2-2 on May 5th, 2026. And some people didn't like the election results, so they've tried to bump me off or out of the convention that is tomorrow or over the weekend. So tomorrow and Friday, or Friday and Saturday, I was supposed to be at the Republican convention to vote on who we want to be the SOS on the fall November lineup. Aaron, hold on a second. Aaron, could you get her? Okay, I got a dog running into the room trying to distract me. They're beautiful animals, but they have no timing control or self-control. So, okay, back to you. So, I don't know if any of you guys have been have been following along with what we've been up against since we both filed in January, February. The first complaint Russ Willis filed against us. She was labeled as bad standing. I got a public admonishment. We still not, we don't quite understand how, considering that we also filed some election complaints, and me and her both, I think, are neck and neck on who's filed the most election complaints versus the other one. She's able to pay to get hers to go through the process into court. It sucks being poor, so I have to fight a little bit harder. Yeah, so let's see where I was going here. Warming centers, Madison County Election Board, that's from last year. Okay, I did file some complaint packets here. I started filing election complaints back in January, February. These still were ignored. my earlier election complaints were ignored. I do have my first election complaint hearing next week for the campaign signs and electioneering, but there's some confusion on those papers, so I'll talk about that here in a little bit. Let's see what this one I put in here. Okay, this is some of the paper and some of the imagery that I've been trying to send to Madison County GOP about some of these complaints. I feel like they're based on lies. There is really no proof to some of the things that were said about me, but I wasn't allowed to rebut, which is odd because I feel like it was a violation of my constitutional rights to due process, and that's how I feel. So I got all kinds of people have been attacking me for several weeks, several months actually. I had to file. These are the complaints I filed. Which ones? Okay, that's something different. That's some other complaints. That's the other story, because we've had so many people attacking us and they don't like it when we respond, which is like, if you're going to attack us, then like what? I don't understand it. Why can't we respond to you? Okay, here's the primary election complaints. Some of the stuff that we'll be dealing with next week. This is kind of what it centers around, the newer complaints, because we feel like we caught Mikkel Vaughn and Christy Grabowski electioneering on April 25th, 2026. This is David Albee, the guy who wound up getting on this tractor or this mower here and damaged about $1,000 worth of signs of mine and Catherine's. There were no sign instructions on where we could place them. You can see some of ours right here. It went all the way down to the stop sign. We got videos. There's like an hour-long video that shows like where all of our signs were at. But nonetheless, David Albee goes over here, gets on this mower, and he's, mowing around the property and kind of distracted me from what was going on. So I didn't catch the damage to the signs until the following day. And some people are like, why aren't you complaining about everybody being in the shoot? Well, because I feel like some of these people that were in the shoot that day, that came into the shoot while Mikkel and Christy were in there, were, let's say, they're not the seasoned candidates. They weren't there in 2024 when Russ Willis, like this is a scene from 2024. Russ Willis is measuring the shoot distance. Here's Mikkel Vaughn. Here's Christy. So they were fully aware of the distance where they were supposed to stand. And in another picture, like right here, if you guys can go back and watch the videos later, but the 50-foot mark is this dark line in the middle of the pavement, okay? Now, of course, Mikkel's not getting yelled here, but Mikkel's not a stupid human being. He's quite street smart, and he tells us that all the time. I'm so street smart. Well, then if he's so street smart, then he shouldn't have been getting everybody in trouble this day. So I feel like Mikkel knew what he was doing. Christy followed suit. She didn't do anything to stop him from doing breaking any rules. So I filed a complaint about that. In about 2 weeks, and Catherine caught him. If you know the history with Catherine and him, they have a history of arguing. And so the year before, which I'm going to pull this up real quick, the year before they had gotten into an argument in front of the same building, in front of the same polling place. And so this year she was ready for him. For some reason, I lost my shared screen. Okay. So this year she was ready for him when he came at her. And it was towards the end of the day, and we caught him electioneering. Okay, so he's already admitted that he electioneered. I'm just going to play this real quick, and then I'll go into the next phase of what happened next.
Board members here.
I had 3 board members here.
Why didn't they mark it off?
Why didn't they mark it? Listen, I have no idea, Mikhail, but again, that doesn't matter for board members. You, as a candidate, has to know the rules.
I'm saying they should mark it off.
You have to know the rules as a candidate, and you know that. They're not going to say, oh, well, you didn't know the rules. Now, you said to me, Catherine, there's nothing you can do. You can't do anything about it.
You can't. I mean, what are you going to do?
What am I going to do?
Talk to voters and win. That's not going to do anything.
Okay.
See, that's what I'm saying.
No. The rules need to apply to everybody. We've made it a total lie. You're in violation of electioneering. That's a misdemeanor. One thing, and it's okay. It's okay to violate one thing. It's not okay to violate anything.
It's okay to spread false rumors and make false accusations.
Please show me.
We see it. That's all you do is post.
Please show me. Please show me.
Post on Facebook constantly.
Because my life doesn't live. At the end of the day, you're in violation.
Okay. And you must have been in some type of violation. I don't know as a violation. I can't take your word for it. You are not official.
Okay. You can't read Indiana code?
You are not official.
I'm not an official. You're right. So you need an official to tell you you're in violation?
I'm not official.
You're not an official. You're right. But you have to know what Indiana code is. As a candidate, you have to know the rules.
I've not personally done it. And I don't know.
Okay, but that is your job as a candidate.
You're the only one griping about it.
No, I'm not the only one dropping by it. No, in 24, it was a violation. So Indiana code is still Indiana code.
You're right. Russ came after you.
Russ came after me?
Yeah, that's why he came out and measured. We were out there all day. You came out here, and you measured it, and me and Christy were right over here in 24.
Yeah. And so you watched him say I was in violation, so you know where the line is, and then you went ahead and violated in 26.
I don't.
No, you just said you watched him measure it in 24.
I can't remember he measured out till.
Yeah, and now you're saying, well, you didn't measure it. Well, you were here, you watched the whole thing.
I didn't. But Russ did. I was up there with Russ. I seen him say right here or something. Did he mark it or something?
And he all the way out here.
I don't remember.
It wasn't close where you could say, oh, well, is this in the range?
I'll give you this. I thought it was within a foot because I couldn't remember.
Okay.
I'm saying all 3 election board members were out here earlier.
All 3 election were out here. You are absolutely correct. And they didn't say a word.
I'm not going to because I didn't know. I knew he did. I didn't realize what actual spot.
Who did?
Okay. You guys were sitting over there.
But here's the thing: when you're going down the road.
Okay. Anyway, I've played that one before. So basically, bottom line with that, he knew Tim Lannon had came out there in like between 11 and noon and told us there were several of us that had signs that had been placed the night before by volunteers. The chute was not marked, but when Tim Lannon came out there and made it known to everybody else that were the rookies in the situation, we complied and I moved my signs. Okay, so here's what I'm talking about. So you can see several signs were up here in this little section. So Tim Lannon had us come and we removed our signs. And then after we removed our signs, they went right back into the chute. These 2 and a couple other people did too, but that's another story for another day. And we will be on June 25th at 2 p.m. The Madison County Election Board will be hearing the complaints about the electioneering and the campaign signs. So basically a lot of stuff was brought up in the hearing because Christy Grabowski got mad that I paired her video and some of the footage, but she's interjected herself into the footage. So I'm not sure how that could be my fault. This photo was cropped and talked about. So basically, I'm getting ready to play, for those of you that weren't or didn't tune in the last couple of weeks or didn't get to hear the raw recording of the hearing that we just happened to get a recording of. We weren't supposed to have our cameras or recorders in there, but we all knew that it was like a sinking ship and we were being set up. So, you do what you do to survive, because nobody would believe us if we didn't have that footage. But this right here was brought up. Okay, but see, they cropped out the other stuff that was in this photo about us talking about fraud is fraud. This was not my text message. This was a screenshot somebody sent us. And I believe it was sent to Catherine, and then Catherine sent it to me to see if I knew what was going on. And so it started at like 9 a.m. that morning. And bottom line is they were caught, and instead of owning it and calling it a day and just dealing with it like adults, they tried to turn everything around on me and Catherine, as usual. Here's another one. This is Michelle Daniels. She should have to recuse herself from the hearing next week, but I bet you she'll be up there just like Russ Willis used to do. She's no better, no different. Through the experience I stumbled across Todd Baldridge's website, so I also put a complaint in about Todd Baldridge because he doesn't put his disclaimers at the bottom of their flyers. And if the rest of us have to do that, then it's only fair that Mikhail and them have to do it too. So if you were some of the people that got these flyers the last couple years, they're not, I'll wait for that one, but I wouldn't trust anybody connected to Todd Baldridge. I wouldn't trust them, because if you look at all the anti-campaigns since, like, I don't know, 2019, pre-2019, the Russ Willis as a tyrant Chinese warlord guy, and I don't know where it's at. I think I might have deleted it off my Facebook, but that one was a Todd Baldridge hit piece, and everybody thought it was me, and we shared it. And when I called it to Todd's attention, he said, I should have got royalties off that for as much as you guys shared it. Well, how rude. But anyway, we're here now. So another complaint was filed against me and Catherine 15 days after I filed the complaint against Mikhail Vaughn for electioneering in the shoot. And on June 7th, 2026, which was a Sunday, wasn't it? Yeah, it was a Sunday in the afternoon. We had to go up to Summitville, and I thought have due process and get to, debate this complaint. And what we ran into was it was not fair and equal. I was not given an opportunity to rebut any of the lies that were being told about me. And so I have a really hard time listening to this, and I don't want to start crying about some of it, but they attack my mental health. They attack PTSD. They claim that I am the kind of veteran that would walk into a city council chambers and shoot it up. I take offense to that. I don't own a gun for that reason. And a lot of people said, well, don't tell people you don't own guns. Well, no, it is what it is. I don't own a gun, and I didn't want to purchase and go that route because I was afraid that at some point someone would bring up my PTSD or the PTSD that I deal with, and then red flagged me and tried to take all my guns. It's just it was a fight I didn't want to get into, and then here I've avoided getting the gun, and I still got a complaint that I'm a violent combat veteran, which I just, whatever. I'm not. I'll prove it later. I don't have a violent history. I don't have any batteries on my record. So it's just a matter of I've held them accountable, me and Catherine both, and they don't like it. So I'm going to go ahead and play Chris's wonderful capture of like 35 minutes of the hearing. And I'm going to be writing stuff down as we're going. And, you know, if you guys have questions, I'll try to pay attention to the side or to the comments. It's one of them things. It's really hard when it's just me on here trying to run all the bells and whistles of the podcast. But I am going to write some stuff down. If you guys hear stuff that you want me to address later or throughout the next couple weeks, then just pull those comments. And if you notice the minute markers, and let me know, and then I'll pull those up. But for now, here is the Republican GOP District 5 hearing.
Jessica would have answered the phone call. I would have, or returned phone calls. We would have known to be on time.
Okay, thank you. I would love it. She has a representative here right there.
Not real happy. Not real happy.
So you have to be really cool about anything that's going to object and create.
Nothing's going to object anything. If we would have started off where we could be adults and she would have answered, we would know where we've been. We wouldn't be late.
Okay, we're here.
Interview process.
We are here now.
Okay, we're here now. We're all going to be adults. Words don't hurt anybody. We're cool. Yep. We're not throwing stuff around. I was getting stuff out of my case. We're good.
It's 1 o'clock on Sunday. Yeah. I think we can all agree that this is not the opportunity.
Did we set it? Or did you guys set this?
Did we have an opportunity to, say, hey, we can't be there, which I did 10 times in an email. I'm here. But I'm willing.
Okay. Let's begin the proceeding for the Kapuzinski complaint.
Okay, I want to thank.
Is there any Democrats sitting over there? I want to say something real quick. I'm going to narrate since you can't see who's talking. So right there, the male voice you heard was Mikkel Vaughn, and then I was interjecting because we all saw that there was an extra face on the other side of the room, which it was Mikkel Vaughn, Rachel Landers, Christy Grabowski, and her son, Jake Grabowski. Why Jake decided to interject himself into this, or why they would talk him into going to this hearing, you'd have to ask them. I don't really feel like that was relevant to the complaint that was set forth, that was sent to me and was sitting in front of me. It had nothing to do with Jake Grabowski. It had nothing to do with Christy. It had everything to do with the same complaint that Russ Willis had just filed in January, February against me. So it makes no sense why, if I didn't release it and Catherine didn't release it, and none of us released it, how did Mikkel Vaughn get a copy of it to refile against me in June? So, there's a lot of questions that we still have that we haven't got answers to, but that's what I'm asking the board and everybody to introduce me to whoever's sitting at the end of the table. At the table before you start reading a lot
I know one's up there. And that is not germane to what we're talking about.
Okay, well,
Isn't this Republican Party?
Allowed to be in the room to witness anything.
Business?
There are witnesses that have been brought to the table beforehand. They are here.
Okay, so who's the guy here on the end?
Oh, I'm Jake Grabowski.
Oh, you're the one that harassed me online. Okay, thank you. Carry on.
Okay.
You sure?
Let's go. 2 minutes.
Hi, Mikkel Vaughn. Appreciate you folks meeting on a Sunday and hearing this complaint. I poured all the evidence to you. I'm going to take a lot of time on that. This has been going on for quite a while. This is Rule 125. You're technically in bad standing. So obviously, Ms. Kaczynski has made it normal that after the primary she loses, she's not basically support the Republican candidates. We've already seen proof of that on her Facebook. It's still on there. I think this is more about the Republican Party as a whole. Matter of fact, just for the record, this is my 19th year of the Republican primary. Ms. Kaczynski just voted Democrat at 19. And behind that, no primary whatsoever. So again,
Okay, I want to address that real quick. He brings up the 2019 primary where I did vote Democrat because my mom got the wild harebrained idea that we wanted to try to bump Mayor Broderick off of the ballot for November. It didn't work, obviously, because Mayor Broderick wound up winning the primary and then he wound up winning the election in 2019. So, it is what it is. But I voted as a strategy to try to bump someone off that we didn't like versus Miguel Vaughn voted a Democrat because he was a Democrat for like 10 years, 20 years before he committed voter fraud. So there is a huge difference. And then he also said, I wasn't going to support Republicans. No, I said I wasn't going to support him. I wasn't going to vote for him. And I wasn't going to vote for some of the other picks for the Madison County Republican Party picks. So whoever Kelly Hewer, the one right here in the middle, you can see that. Kelly Hewer, whoever Kelly Hewer supports, I wasn't going to vote for any of those people. I'm still not going to vote for whoever Russ Willis picks, and pretty much anybody that the establishment wants in office, I was not going to vote for. It's not that I'm not going to vote for a Republican. I've never said I wouldn't vote Republican. I just said I wouldn't vote for him and some of their picks. So, they're just trying to vague book stuff for the record, and I don't agree, and I'll start objecting here in a minute.
Again, to me, this is about the party. We have a new chairman, Kelly Hewer is my chairman, and again, I'm pretty much, you're aware of all the evidence, everything's been said. Yes. 1 minute left. Like I said, I appreciate you guys, and I'm not going to go with the evidence because you have gotten that, and any questions you may have, I answer it. So I'll make a closing discussion.
All right, Ms. Kaczynski, you have 2 minutes.
Here's your folder. Here's your folder. Here's your folder. Here's yours. Here's yours.
Start.
In your folder, okay, you're going to find where Christy Grabowski and Miguel Vaughn were inside the chute on 4/25/2026. I filed a complaint with the Madison County Election Board, which is still under review, and this is retaliation for that complaint. Miguel Vaughn's vote record is also in there, and he's got many years as a Democrat before he got in trouble for voter fraud and then switched parties. Okay, so not addressing the allegations, the committee should begin with the undisputed facts. One, on the cover letter here, it says Rule 133, and second, on the second page of the complaint, it says Rule 125. So if we're playing with Rule 133, then I'm going to have to say that it rests on 135. And if you don't prove that the things that you are putting before this council, not once but twice, are true.
1 minute left.
Okay. I continue. Okay, anyway. I have evidence to prove that these guys were electioneering in the chute. My evidence refutes their claims. They're trying to use Facebook, social media crop images, which I have, they're in the exhibits at the back of the folder. The stuff about Diego Morales, there's no proof that I ever harassed Diego Morales, and I have a copy of that exhibit in that file as well. It's towards the back. And my actual Kaczynski thing in the middle tells you everything you need to know, plus explains each one of those exhibits. I did not mention necessarily Grabowski's or Landers in this complaint because I did not know that they would be here and I did not know that that would be any relevant. So I have complaints against them as well. They're just not filed in any legal court, or they will be filed this week in Madison County Court.
Thank you.
Defamation, libel, and slander.
We have witnesses for the,
First, I'd like to call, if it's okay, Rachel Landers.
So point out, Rachel Landers was not in complaint number 2. They did not forward me a list of the witnesses before I walked in there. There was a sneak attack by Rachel Landers, Christy Grabowski, and Mikkel Vaughn. Christy Grabowski is a current elected official for the Madison County Council. And she bold-faced lied to make everybody feel sorry for her, and she even cries. But what Rachel's getting ready to say is based on hearsay, gossip. She has no proof to her claim, nor did she even offer up any proof in this hearing that I have ever harassed her. The court, Judge Angela Warner Sims, said there wasn't enough evidence to prove that I had harassed or tried to intimidate Culp or Landers, or any of them for that matter, last year. And I haven't really spoke to any of them in the past year. The last time, well, I guess I did in January in the city council chambers. Everything I do is in public. Everything has a record now. I don't try to have conversations with these people in private. So why she's here testifying against me is whatever. And that's why I filed 10 defamation lawsuits last week. And those we'll be talking about towards the end of this podcast. And then we'll be getting into that like in the next week and the next couple of weeks leading up to the court hearing. But back to this.
Members of the board, I am Rachel Landers, Anderson City Council member at large. I am here to share my personal experience with Nicole Paxton. In 2023, while I was running for office, I was working with Tammy Dixon Tatum to help organize a homeless task force. Tammy suggested involving Nicole because of her lived experience with homelessness. At that time, Nicole and I did not know each other personally, and I genuinely believed we were working toward the same goal. However, after sending Nicole a late invitation to a meeting that she ended up not receiving until after the meeting was over, Nicole became very angry and accused me of trying to take over or sabotage her efforts. From that point forward, she began posting about me publicly and repeatedly on social media, even going so far as to encourage the public to vote for a Democrat candidate over me. While it started as criticism, quickly turned into daily personal attacks, false accusations, and targeted harassment, not only toward me, but also for my family, colleagues, and others involved in local Republican politics.
Okay, see, she doesn't have any proof of that. And if she's talking about the stuff I posted about her husband was in charge of Aspire when my dad died. And a lot of things were in regards to that. The board of directors for Aspire would not do anything to help me with my dad. And I went in and filed a complaint. He died like in the next 2 or 3 months after that because they kept him on all his antipsychotics and all his meds. And he was a drug addict. And he had a heart attack or whatever. I didn't have an autopsy done because I figured it was an overdose of some sort, and it messed with his heart and it caused him to die. But anyway, she has no proof of any of the stuff that I was posting. And if it had anything to do with her husband, then that's my defense on that. They should do a better job of taking care of the people that are underneath them. And on top of that, she's a public official and she's complaining about protected speech. So now she's saying that we are not allowed to criticize her because we're not allowed to criticize her. Well, that's not true. We're allowed to redress our government. We're allowed to criticize them when they make bad decisions and they do stuff. So I'll have to prove some of this in court next month. But either way, she has no proof of claim. She said she has about 50 to 500 screenshots, but she didn't bring any with her to this hearing, which makes me think she doesn't have any. And I'm not afraid to tell people what I said. And if she would have answered the questions when they were asked before, we wouldn't be here still arguing about the same things having to do with the homeless community. And for the record, her homeless community task force was not even legal. That's why they had to redo something to do with the ordinances and resolutions in January 2024 to legally establish a homeless task force. So everything that she had said to me up to that point was not true because it wasn't even legal. That's why she couldn't answer any of my questions. And she still can't answer any questions. It's been 3 years and they're still not doing anything other than Paramount movie documentary about being homeless. And they gave away the $900,000 in ARPA funds to guess who? Aspire. So we're not allowed to ask where our money went, where our tax money went to help the homeless. And then they give it to Aspire. And all these people on the homeless task force just happen to be connected to Aspire. And then we still have a problem 3 years later. I mean, come on now, common sense. It's protected speech and she doesn't like being talked about.
This behavior has continued for nearly 3 years. It has created fear and division within our local political community. People have become afraid to publicly support or defend others because they worried they would become targets themselves. I documented the behavior and even filed a police report in 2024 after Nicole posted on a Facebook that the entire city council, she had posted that the entire city council had turned their backs on her. I was concerned that Nicole, who describes herself as a disgruntled combat veteran with PTSD, could potentially be one of those individuals who might bring a gun into the council chambers and start shooting. Another elected official also felt threatened enough to seek legal protection. Over time, the attacks expanded beyond me. Nicole publicly attacked Republican organizations, elected officials, veterans, and non-political community leaders. Sorry, what?
1 minute left.
Okay.
See, she got 3 minutes.
What concerns me most is not disagreement over policy or politics. Those disagreements are normal. What concerns me is the repeated pattern of personal destruction, misinformation, intimidation, and hostility directed at anyone she views as an enemy.
No.
I have tried very hard not to respond publicly or escalate the situation. I have remained professional, factual, and focused on serving the community. But I believe this pattern of conduct is harmful to trust, harmful to party unity, and harmful to the people willing to step forward and serve publicly. I have nearly 500 screenshots of posts that Nicole has made about me personally. This does not include posts by others, but Nicole has made several daily posts for nearly 3 years bashing local politicians, most of which are full of blatant lies. That is why I felt it was important to speak here today. Thank you.
Have a minute.
Next witness.
Jake Grabowski.
Good afternoon. I'm Jake Grabowski, the son of Christy Grabowski. On one Sunday, my mom came up to me and showed me this screenshot. And she was very concerned. And the screenshot had a picture of her and said, "You don't want to feel sorry for Christy Grabowski. And she gets what she deserves." And then on the caption it says, "To shoot or not to shoot," spelled correct. So then she comes and asks, should I think about, or should I go and try to file a restraining order? And I'm like, no, it's just silly Facebook drama. So I go home that day, and my dad passed away not too long ago, and I'm her only son, so I'm like, I better just reach out and try to make my mom.
You need to stop.
You'll be removed.
Who's yelling?
Stop. I am, because she's yelling, she's interrupting him. That's not what we do here.
Where is their
He needs to finish speaking. You will get a chance to talk.
I didn't
Be
get.
respectful.
I didn't get.
We're trying to be respectful to you too.
No, you weren't.
So you'll get a chance to speak and they won't interrupt you. Well, she keeps on yelling.
There's a difference.
Stop.
You should know better.
Stop. Continue.
So I was sitting at home thinking, I just need to I'll just reach out to try to make my mom feel better about maybe it's just a misunderstanding. So I reach out to Nicole and ask her if she could explain. We have a conversation. I sent her 3 messages. She's posted all the messages online. But I try to handle it privately. Then she took the conversation down this weird rabbit hole where she says I was trying to say what she could and couldn't post. And then I realized we weren't going anywhere and we weren't having a good faith conversation. So I just
Okay. I don't know about you guys, but when you got some smart aleck in your inbox trying to ask you what you mean by CHUTE or CH whatever, they tried to make it out like because President Trump had been threatened or there was some type of incident in Washington, D.C. that day that I was going to show up and shoot Christie, I guess, is what they were trying to imply. And then the fact that he was in my inbox, like, does that not strike anybody as something weird? Why is a full-grown sized man, and that was the other issue, he's way bigger than me, and I was actually being quite nice to him, and he didn't like that I was being nice to him at the beginning. I thought I was dealing with a little kid. Okay, I had no clue who Jake Grabowski was. The screenshots can be seen on my Facebook. It's not wanting to pull up right now. But either way, he's downplaying what he did. And then he started telling me to retract my statements, take it down, delete it, delete the video footage. No. I'm not going to, because I caught them electioneering. Why do I have to take that stuff down? And then why are they downplaying it like it wasn't any big deal? No, Karen, it wasn't J6. Oh, January 6th time. No, it was from that weekend, I guess, the end of April. And I guess elaborate on what you mean by J6 time. But I'm going to push play for a minute.
let it be. And she then went and posted it on Facebook, said she was going to be filing a complaint. So I just left it all alone. I told my mom, I would just ignore everything they say on Facebook. They don't seem to be like you can talk to them and have any reasonable conversations with them. And I don't think that's a real good, for the Republican Party, not being able to have good faith conversations and then straw manning everything you say.
No,
is not good for the Republican Party.
Where was your screenshots? Why don't you show them what your screenshots were, Jake?
That's actually.
I got it.
I want to begin with, I take no joy in this. I have no personal ill wishes towards Nicole. For me, today is about accountability.
Okay, about accountability. She was electioneering in the shoot. She doesn't like being held accountable. The fact, I'm starting to get agitated. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm starting to get agitated.
I am a target of Nicole's, not because of anything I've said or done to her because of a policy stance, but because I supported her opponent in the Republican primary race for County Council District 2. In fact, I have publicly thanked her for her service to our county after her remarks at a county council meeting, and I even jumped her.
Okay. No, in fact, she has never thanked me for my service. She was standing beside Mikkel Vaughn when he was yelling at me from the side of the chute, telling me that I was breaking the law. I have a 3-minute clip after this is done, and we'll go back and replay that so you can see exactly how she was behaving that day. She was not telling him to stop. In fact, she was laughing and giggling at him, and she's using one image only talking about the part that says CHUTE. It's not mentioning the fraud at the top of it, which I showed you at the beginning of this video. If you didn't get to see the image, you can go back to the beginning after this is over and take a look at it and speed scroll through the video. But yeah, there was that one. And then another one that I put stars over top of her family members' faces so you couldn't see them, because I feel like any veteran that would stand there in the chute electioneering for another candidate and then try to act like they're a victim in all this, that's offensive to me, because she could have came over there to me when I was getting yelled at and being forced to take down all my campaign material, which did not violate any codes for Madison County or the state. then she could have came over there and helped me pick them up. She chose not to. And then her campaign manager, her and Mikkel, decided they were going to try to make it look like I desecrated my flags, which you have to prove malicious intent. I had no malicious intent. I was following orders from Tim Lannon to pick my stuff up because he was trying to mediate.
Her car for her when she was stranded at the government center late at night after a council meeting. On Saturday evening, April 25th, Nicole posted on Facebook a screenshot of a text message she sent reading, "People want to feel sorry for Christy Grabowski. Give me a break. She deserves what she gets." She added to the screenshot, "Shoot, C-H-U-T-E, or not to shoot. That is the question." This was on the same evening as there was another assassination attempt on the president. On Sunday at church, I showed this to my son and expressed my concern about the veiled threat in Nicole's post. Knowing I was shaken by it, he decided to reach out to Nicole privately to clarify if it was indeed a threat, which I neither asked him to or knew he was going to do. As you have heard, the exchange did not go well at all. He reached out as a concerned son who was immediately deemed a political enemy, trying to bully her and tell her what she can or cannot do on her Facebook page. After convincing herself that I had sent my son to intimidate her, she ratcheted up her vitriol and looked for ways to defame both me and my son. On April 29th, she desecrated an image I used when campaigning for county council in 24 that highlighted my family's legacy of Navy service to our country. She blotted out the faces of my deceased father and my deceased husband, as well as my daughters and son-in-law's faces. She left my and my son's faces intact and proceeded to disparage our military service without any knowledge of what it entailed and made false accusations without any evidence. She plastered across the middle of the image, "Did not deploy." This was a new low for Nicole. Nicole also falsely accused me of being behind a video showcasing her disrespect of the American flag. The footage was from her own Facebook Live video where she was removing campaign signs, and while removing the small American flags that she placed with her signs, she proceeded to toss the flags on the ground. Although she knew this was a violation of federal code, she blamed the fact she could not carry them at the time. She ignored the fact that she could have handled the flags with the proper respect if she had put her phone away instead of recording live on Facebook. This demonstrates her priorities for political drama over respect for the flag.
No, that shows that I have to keep a recording on me at all times or nobody would believe me what I have to go through with some of these people. So now she's playing victim. She was sitting there crying while the other people were speaking. She wants everybody to think that I totally disrespected her. I was being nice by putting the stars on her family's faces and pointing out that they did not deploy. And see, that makes them mad too, because they know they didn't deploy to a war zone like I did. And they sat there and gang up on me. When you need, okay, there's one of me, folks, one of me. There are at least 7 to 10 names listed in these complaints. Why is it that all these people are connected, and why do they keep trying to tear me down and then get upset when I try to defend myself or retaliate? Or I take everything public. I think transparency is the right way to go. And apparently they don't like it when you show people what they say or do. So the video of her and Mikkel yelling at me on that Monday, I'm getting ready to show you after this is over. But I almost can't even listen to this. And I still got like 15 minutes to go. Holy cannolis.
Like she and I served under, and many have died defending. I strongly believe that we must uphold the values of the Republican Party. Among those are that we are the party who loves America and respects the flag. We do not only respect it when it benefits us politically. We are the party that honors and respects those who serve our country honorably. We do not attack or disparage our veteran service without evidence. We are the party of ideas and of diversity of thought, not the party that shuts down opposing ideas and speech with threats of violence and intimidation. Ultimately, we are the party of truth. We are the party of truth, not the party that rejects reality. We defend the truth because it matters. If the type of behavior highlighted today is not held to account, it will become increasingly difficult to get good qualified Republican candidates to run for office. I do not come from a political background. I ran for office as a concerned taxpayer wanting to serve my community in the best way I am capable. I am a former homeschool mom who taught government and personal finance to teens. Okay.
Nicole, do you have any witnesses?
I have evidence in front of me, and I would like to take my full time to defend myself. And I would like to see copies of their evidence as well, because it's submitted into the complaint that was sent out to us on Thursday.
You would have 2 minutes to close.
2 minutes? I thought we get 9 minutes for the rules on the website. Okay. Is Christy Grabowski a member of the Women's Republican Club of Madison County? Yes.
That's not an issue.
Yeah, that is an issue today, because they're mixing bylaws with Indiana code or Indiana Republican Party rules. Okay, so I caught them electioning in the chute on 4/25. The complaint was filed before her son even reached out to me. Okay, I have those messages, and he started acting like a smartass and telling me what the chute means. And I told him, as a 30, 40-something-year-old grown man that's served in the military, that he knows what the term chute is, and he should not be reaching out to me. So then, the thing about harassment and police reports, I've already been to the APB and asked them for a copy of all police reports. They do not exist. They've also tried to put me through court with a protective order, right there, where the judge denied the protective order because there was no proof of harassment and intimidation. I am not the aggressor in the issue. They are the aggressors, okay? So I won officially. They are not supposed to electioneer in the chute. This isn't even talking about Raquel Vaughn's complaint at this time. So let's talk about Rule 133 and 125 and how this is basically a confusion. Further due process confidentiality and conflict of interest concerns, okay? So if you're not going to give us enough time to be able to rebuttal these witnesses like they would do in a real court, because as you can see, I can show you here that your own paperwork don't even match. I mean, this says 133, this says 125, and this complaint here, based on cropped imagery, which is also, as one of the exhibits in there, shows that I did not say the things that they try to say that I say online. So, protected speech. If they do not like the freedom of speech, then they should not get into politics.
Would you like a final?
Again, thank you, board, for hearing us. I will say this is a party matter, and a lot of stuff she's saying is you guys ain't gonna be hearing. It should be with the election board. I've done with that, but that's obvious. This is Rule 125 in bad standing. As the evidence of submitted to the board, you can see her actual words, that what she said on Facebook, and she just continued to read. She was just here on February 16th. Really don't care what you guys said. She made that statement in her post. So and after she said she'd lose, she's going to support and be a Democrat or whatever.
I didn't say that, Mikhail.
So
I didn't say that.
I look at it like this. If something is not done, they're going to continue. They're going to continue this behavior. And it's sad to me that we have a new chairman that is trying to bring this party together. We had a couple rough spots in that, and she really tried. And we have just a couple people that has make accusations. This is what she does. Ms. Kapczynski, she makes accusations. She's the victim, but clearly see through the evidence, it's not. She's not the victim. And she attacks the family personally on several candidates.
No, I don't.
And I could fill this room with candidates the last couple of years. So I appreciate the board. The only thing I ask you, if this was in your county, how do you react? I asked the board for 10 or plus years on Ms. Kapczynski. Obviously, she made it known publicly. She don't care what you guys said. Thank you.
No, I didn't.
That'll conclude this hearing.
No,
We will
say that.
get our findings to you and to you yet this afternoon. But I would appreciate it if you could excuse yourself. So we
I've got another.
if you've got more business, then of course you can stay. But
let's all them stay in savages. Let's and see some crowd carried there. Let's say this too. Kyle Pierce actually helped write Cecil Stroud's complaint on Larry Savage. Cecil and them have already told on themselves about Kyle Pierce helping write these. That's how Mikhail got a copy of all the stuff from February, because Kyle Pierce, House District 36, helped. And now here in the last couple weeks, he's now turned on Diego and is now supporting Max Engling. So if you think these guys are for us, I hate to tell you guys, they are not, and they cheat behind closed doors and behind the scenes. And none of them should have been supporting. If they are connected to the Madison County Republican Club or the Indiana Federation of Republican Women, they should not have been picking sides during the May primary. It's part of their rules that they wouldn't let me talk about. Even Kelly Hewer is on the Madison County Republican Women's Club. She's on 2 different organizations' boards. say what? Like, so how are they going to hold me accountable to their rules if I'm not even allowed in their club? So it's just infuriating.
I still got business.
Could I go last, please? Because I just want to.
Listen, we're going that way
right
now.
I
We're
want to do this.
You're headed that way.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, if they get to be here when I went, why can't I be here when they go?
You have no further information, no
Actually, I
further,
do. This is my friend, that's my friend,
Are
and
you-
so is
are
Catherine.
you a witness?
I'm a witness to every single thing because I'm the social media person that runs the pages for Catherine.
You have her as a witness?
I do against Cecil because he did harass me online a little bit, so I would like to ask her a question if you don't mind. I mean, it's okay with you. I mean, that's up to you guys.
Can Ms. Callahan submit any witnesses?
Why does it matter, Mikhail?
No.
Well, we called Jessica. I don't have my phone because last time we were told not to bring our phones in here, so it's good that you guys have your phones when we were told not to last time. But I called Jessica at 1 o'clock. I called you yesterday. So yeah, we attempted, but they do what they do and they don't answer. So when they don't answer return calls or whatever, when we can't act like adults, this is what we get.
I will say to the board, you guys have been very gracious. I got the email at 10:56 in the morning. This is new to me, this district, the second time it's happened. You got my proper paperwork, and I'll tell you who helped me find my attorney, Mr. Manley. So you gave me a 10-day notice. It's not my fault you can't read your emails. She printed out, you did 2 live videos. Basically what you guys said, she knows. So if she has no witnesses.
No, that's not what I said, Mikhail. That's not what I said, Mikhail.
If she not, you think Mr. Grover out the website, she should not be in.
No,
Because I
that's,
submitted the 3
no,
witnesses.
that's bullshit. Jessica, did I not call you? Do you not have that on your phone?
I don't work.
Okay, and so you've been at work from there till now? You couldn't have called later?
I have a text.
No, I called you and I left you a message.
We will be right back.
Great.
Please
Catherine
no
and I
blood.
both called. I don't need to be the complainant, dumbass. We did, buddy. We called her.
Let's bring it down, guys. Just bring it down.
No, he like, this is
No,
what
I
he
know,
does,
don't be
and that's
calling
why-
Chris an idiot, don't be calling.
That's my fault. I called him a dumbass.
I know,
That's my fault.
What are you guys here for? Is it to let him sit here and get us, antagonize and trigger us, or is it?
Nicole.
I'm
Hold
talking
on.
to the officer in the back of
Come
the
on
room.
now.
Here.
You're just here for peace officer?
Just has to be here and then just sit here and quietly, that's all we're doing.
Okay, to observe. So,
We're just not gonna get
trying
anywhere like this.
to antagonize the
We're good.
witnesses or the other person that this is against the law. Do you not show up to houses for intimidation and harassment complaints? Because I'm gonna say, I want to file a harassment complaint about everyone in that table over there. So are you gonna take my police report, or do I gotta wait until I get back to Anderson to file that one? All right, sure
They're
will.
coming. They're coming.
Thank you.
All right, guys. No witnesses.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. Grover gets you.
What's that?
So wait. You told me.
They come in and say no witnesses, but they let Rachel Landers, Christy Grabowski, and Jake Grabowski stay in the hearing for the rest of the time. So why is it that I was forced to leave, but they were allowed to stay? And Mikhail was not the complainant on the Larry Savage case. It was Cecil Stroud. So why did Mikhail get to stay in that room? Because this wasn't about labeling. This was just about kicking us out. Okay. This had nothing to do with upholding any type of standard rules, codes, or laws. Because if it was, they would have given me the imagery that Christy Grabowski was over there holding that looked cropped and didn't even show the whole picture of what was being said. So this wasn't about lawful rights. This was about disenfranchising me, which in turn disenfranchised 1,285 voters. Okay, I digress here.
You told me yesterday that we would be here and you would hear us. So are you now saying that's
I
not?
told you that I would hear out the argument, and we heard out the argument, and we decided that the rules are gonna trump what it is that we can do on the fly.
And
These
rules
are
for
the same
what?
procedures that we had from the last time that you guys have done this.
Okay,
with
then
the-
how-
Right, and so what do we do when we attempt to get a hold of you guys and you guys don't respond back? What are we supposed to do?
You know that I did respond back.
Right, and you told me to be here. And
did
what,
encourage you.
so
It's
what are we
procedure
going to
that
do?
makes it
What are we going to do, Jessica? What are we going to do when we attempted to reach out to you in a timely manner and you didn't respond to that situation? What do we do?
Well, we sent out the email last week, and
Okay.
it was snail mail.
Okay, what does that, it doesn't matter, we have a timeline. When the
Right.
timeline says you have to do it within a period of time,
And if you have questions that
Yep.
could have been asked sooner, then
you don't get to dictate when we ask the
I
question.
understand.
When I call you ahead of the deadline,
During business hours.
okay,
Yes,
and I left you a message, which
Don't have it.
you don't have it, you don't have the voicemail?
I have a new phone.
I don't, that's your problem, not ours.
Okay.
The complainant is supposed to make the complaint.
The complaint, we were on a three-way call, we were on a three-way call, leaving her a message.
Were there any emails with the list of witnesses?
Yes, yes. 10 days prior to
Not to me.
6 in the
I didn't
morning.
know.
No, did you guys
Did you
email?
send
me?
We sent an email and we made a phone call.
We received all of.
But moreover, she's admitted that she got the phone call, and I get that it's during business time, but that's her fault, not mine. She could have called us back after business hours. You telling me you don't take a break during the day?
But all
You
I'm
don't use
asking
the
is,
bathroom during the day?
I don't look at my phone when I'm
where's
at
the
work.
complainant? Where is she?
Oh, the defendant?
Where's the defendant? Where is she?
She's not here.
Doesn't have to be
Second
here.
time, she did show up.
Doesn't have to be
She's
here.
a doctor
The
on call.
situation
Well, nor
is,
does she have a
See,
phone.
that's mine
Okay.
right there. that he-
that's what we called about.
Can you just remove it,
For
please?
1 second,
And how did he get a copy of my complaint from complaint one if this was a private meeting?
one
Because the
second
only
here.
one at the table right there that could have done it was her.
Hold on. This is, we're talking about Catherine for a second. So, real quick.
She's excused.
We're
Yeah.
talking about Catherine for just a second, okay? We attempted to do what we needed to do, okay? I don't mess around with things. We do stuff within a time. We could have done it a week ago, but you have a deadline. And it's not our fault that you don't like when we choose to do it, or you were at work or whatever. We attempted to do what we needed to do. Catherine and I made a three-way call attempting to do what we needed to do.
Which is what?
Set forth the witnesses who would be here for Catherine on today's date, which is a very, not conducive to people being here on a Sunday.
So
Okay. So we attempted to set forward,
Did you send an email with the?
we sent, I've already answered that. Asked and answered,
Who
sir.
did you send the?
Whoever sent the thing out, we sent an email out and we made a phone call.
Do you have that email?
I don't have any of my stuff on me.
Well, if you can go to your car and get your phone.
Let me go.
With your email.
Let me do that. But while I'm doing that, let's address the phone call.
No, let's try to get this done.
That's what I'm doing. Let's address the phone call. I want to know what about the phone call.
The phone call didn't happen.
Yes, it did. Don't say it didn't happen. She just said.
Look.
We made her a phone call and I spoke to you. So what are you saying here?
What I'm saying is there an email?
Okay, can she pull it up? It's her responsibility, not mine.
I just searched her name, and I have her name.
Search Callahan.
No. Do you have a copy of that email?
It would be on Catherine's. It wouldn't be for mine.
But I'm
Catherine
assuming
did.
she would CC you, right?
Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. I don't know.
But then if there's no proof of an email sent.
Okay, but okay, so
But
here's the
if
deal.
you're sending, saying she got an email, I'm looking here, she
Okay,
doesn't have an
so,
email.
all right, so what
So
about
then-
the phone call?
What about the phone call? Did you leave the witness list on the phone call?
Well, so here's what we did. So first of all, the point of the phone call was number one, to find out the specific time and location. We thought the location was up at the city hall, so that was one of the
But
things.
wasn't the time and location put on the complaint?
Yes.
It was,
Yes.
but
So-
we were calling to verify. And then also we were verifying that the email was sent through because we never got anything back. And number two, we were verifying that the witness list was received. That was the point of the phone call. And when I left the message and she doesn't return the call, and then we go above and beyond to then call Darren and explain the situation to Darren. And Darren, you said that we would be heard today.
Yeah, that is what's happening right now.
No, you're not.
Did you send him on the witness list?
Say again?
Did you tell Darren? that
I
you
did
sent
not
witness
send, I did
list?
not send him the, no, I told it, I said that we would be here I would be here for Catherine. I did tell you
You
that.
did say that you were.
I did say that. Yeah, so I did say I was a witness for Catherine. His words.
Say Ms. Piper did email instructions on how.
The question is not about whether Piper emailed Mikhail. The question is whether or not, as a treasurer, or what are you, secretary? As a secretary of this board, she did not get in contact with me when I attempted to call. Catherine and I were on a three-way call and left a voice message to Jessica.
She did not.
And when she didn't call us back, she said, she didn't say she didn't get it. She said it's a new phone, which seems like an excuse to me. But we, the next day, then did call Darren. And it laid all of this out to avoid this.
Well, she did not get the message.
She didn't? So the message is not
I
there?
don't have my voicemail set up.
Okay.
So there's no way you could have left her a message.
Well, yeah, oh yeah, there was, I can go get my phone, we can try that.
So all I want is that email. You have a copy of
Well,
that email?
you guys look for it.
Well, we did,
We did.
when there
Okay.
is no email. So if there's no email and you don't have any proof of an email, then there's no email.
Listen, this is ridiculous. You guys, this is so childish. The whole day is childish. This whole thing is childish. This is ridiculous. If there are laws broken, call the police, file it through court. We're talking about, this is fifth grade junior.
This is an internal party issue.
Yeah, absolute bullshit. It's
And we have
childish.
rules that we have to follow
Right.
for the internal
And
party
you know
issue.
what? What you have to do is, as the secretary of the board, you have to act as a secretary of the board. And not responding to that phone call is nonsense.
But if she did not get a voicemail, she can't respond to it. And if you have proof of an email, then please provide that proof of an email.
It does, look, it doesn't matter.
It does
What are you
matter.
gonna, what are you gonna do? You're gonna say Catherine's a badder Republican in bad standing?
No, if you have proof of an email sent that we didn't receive,
Okay.
then we can use that email.
I'll see, listen, we'll
We'll
get with Catherine, and I'll see if we can get it to you. We can send it to you later, it doesn't matter. You guys are gonna do what you're gonna do anyways. So it really doesn't matter.
We've got Mr. Savage
Yes.
to go right now. Why don't you step outside?
I'm gonna step outside and do that. We'll do that, yeah.
She got that email.
Yes, thank you. This is a joke. You guys are a joke. We'll let you know. Complete fucking bullshit.
Okay, so what I continued to argue was I wanted Kelly Hewer or one of them to explain to me how Mikhail Vaughn had copies of complaint 1. And he actually didn't just have a copy of it, he had the actual cropped imagery from complaint 1 that does not exist because I didn't do it. I didn't post it that way. So the only way that he could have got a copy of that was either through Kelly Hewer. And I have a different recording where I won't tell you how I got that one either, but I have another thing that shows that. But the main thing is, how did Mikhail Vaughn get a copy of complaint 2 or complaint 1 if he wasn't privy to the first complaint? And then he just used lies that were in the first complaint to file the second complaint and get me flagged. And then I'm getting kind of agitated, and I still have to get through this weekend. The convention starts tomorrow and runs into Saturday, and then next week's the election hearing. But Christy Grabowski was saying some stuff on her or on me and some of my behaviors, and I went ahead. I mean, the clip I have to show at the hearing next week is over an hour long. I mean, I got so much footage from what they did that day, it's not even funny. But I did condense this one particular section down into 3 minutes or 3 minutes, 30 seconds. And so this is what I'm going to end tonight's show on, is this clip. I might come back on and talk a little bit. And I'll have to come back later because we're already at an hour, and like I said, I'm feeling kind of agitated, so I don't want to go into the emails and rehash all that again, but I will bring all the emails and stuff with timestamps and dates on it the next couple of weeks, because I gotta have stuff each week for the Thursday podcast. So one night in the next couple weeks, we'll just do all emails and the correspondence between me and these guys, since their decision is going to possibly disenfranchise 1,285 voters. We'll find out tomorrow or this weekend. I have some new evidence that popped in my lap that the convention created the committee. The committee didn't create the convention. So technically they don't have the statutory power to remove me after a primary election. So there's that. And I have a diagram that shows how the elected official, I'm pretty much a high-ranking elected official right now for the next couple days. And I have one job to do, and they're trying to block me from even doing that because of Diego Morales. And he just happens to be in the complaints lying about what was said or done. So anyway, here's the clip. And she was not being a military-minded individual, or she would have told Mikkel Vaughn to stop. And I voted for Christy Grabowski, just so everybody knows. I voted for her, okay? Because she handed me a pamphlet about constitutional rights, and she believed in freedom of speech and all this stuff. Now, if you listen to that clip and you still think that those people believe in protected speech, I got a beachfront property in Fiji I'll sell you for $19.95. It's great. Seriously, here's this. That kind of just explains what happened. Oh, great. Here we go. Michelle Daniels coming out. Say something to me. Come on. Look at him. There's your elected official right there. Christy Grabowski. So here you go. You can't see it, but hand it out that lied to her constituents about being a woman of God, hanging out with felons. Oh Lord, hurt my feelings. No, I'm not Okay, Mikkel, I've already talked to the election board today. Don't talk to me. Okay, Michelle, you want to come tell me? Michelle Daniels, come on. Let's have an interview. I can't hear you. Let's have an interview. I've already talked to Linda, and I've already talked to Tim Lannon. Yeah, I talked to the Madison County Election Board already, and they said my signs were okay. Okay. When I say she is part of the Madison County Election Board. Michelle Daniels is the president. Me and Michelle Daniels have a long-standing feud. I find her quite rude, arrogant, and not as smart as she thinks she is. She can't follow along with speakers sometimes. She hears one thing and repeats something that don't even have nothing to do with what the people were saying. People tell her all the time that, she's not comprehending what's being said in these hearings. And for some reason, Kelly Hewer picked her to be the president of the Madison County Election Board. Or maybe they picked her to be the president because they know what it entails. Not sure. But I will say, even though I've had a long-standing feud with Linda Smith and Tim Lannon, they grew on me through this process. I don't know. I can't say that I would want to vote for Linda in the November election, but she wasn't mean to me during this time frame when everybody else was being mean. And Tim Lannon he did a very good job at mediating. But on this particular situation here, I had already spoke with Linda. I had already spoke with Tim. Both of them were very civil, and both of them acted like adults trying to mediate a situation between candidates. But I was the candidate I had the right standing, because technically there is no campaign sign law in Madison County or rule that says that we can't have more than 2 signs. It didn't have any placements on the signs. And then the state of Indiana, all of our signs fell within the Indiana code. So why Mikkel Vaughn was yelling at me while I'm trying to pick up all these signs is I don't understand. Christy Grabowski let him. She thought it was funny. So why she was crying in that hearing is something else. And that's why she's getting sued. And hopefully she brings Jake Grabowski to that one too. And I'll have all that for that court date. But what I want to point out on this video here, and some of you probably have already seen it. So, you know, just to finish out, to show everybody the kind of stuff I have to put up with these guys. Michelle Daniels should have came out there to me and spoke to me about whatever it is these two were getting ready to tell me, because I don't have the equipment to blot out their faces. So you are going to see these people in a minute. And they're the poll workers that worked the poll that day. And I want, you know, for the record, I do not feel like the poll workers, they're the rookies. Okay. I don't recognize either one of them. I've never dealt with them outside of whatever incident here that we're arguing about at this polling location. So I do not blame them for coming over. The frustration and animosity that I have is within this situation is because I had been harassed by multiple people connected to Mikkel Vaughn and Christy Grabowski for 72 hours. I don't do that to people. I say things they don't like, but I don't continually harass them nonstop for days on end. And the stuff that I do put out, the reason why I put it out is for fishers. So if they would just answer and tell us if we're right or wrong, then we could move forward, but they don't, which tells us that we're probably right. So those are things we'll deal with in court. But anyway, Michelle Daniels should have came out here and spoke to me in this video. She didn't. She cowered out. She tried to yell from the chute. So the issue next week on Thursday will be, will she recuse herself from this hearing since she helped participate in some of the problems that were going on that day? Who will be her stand-in if they do get a filler? And hopefully it's not Russ Willis. Because if it's Russ Willis, I just want you guys to know I'm going to lose. And I'll have to take them into a real big boy court with real judges. And I'll do it pro se because truth does stand up in court and not every judge is corrupt. And I like some of them in our Madison County justice system. You know, that it is what it is. But here you go. You have to have him down for what?
That's the one that they're worried about.
Okay.
So the ones over here on this hill and over there on that hill.
I've already removed those from the road. Okay, so then you guys do realize that every polling place, even the churches, have allowed us to sit them out by the road, right? That's true.
What we got told is that they don't want them by the road because they don't want anybody thinking that this specific church is endorsing someone over anybody else. That is what they want.
It's an election. Okay, so then we're going to file a complaint against the church about the harassment that I've received from one of your elders this morning. And I have the screenshots and the messages to go with it, plus 3 months worth. So you can make up your stuff, make up whatever you're trying to tell me. I'm going to go ahead and go call Tim Lannon and find out what he has to say. Thank you. Once again, I don't blame them. I don't. So apparently they're saying I'm breaking Indiana code by putting my signs out, right? Right. So nobody wants to show me the codes. Mikkel wants to yell at everybody, try to act like he knows more. And here we are. They don't want, so you just heard it, folks. The church asked. Yeah. The church asked for us to remove our signs David Albee from the road. And he threw a fit for 7 hours over them signs. Okay. And I want to show you some screenshots or some different pictures before I sign off for the night. Because Bilbrey comes on at 9, I think. But anyway, I got a copy of the polling location. The red is me. Okay, so somebody yelled at me the other day saying it says right there at the top that it doesn't even, no, that's me being like, I'm pointing out the fact that this does not have any instructions on what we can do with our signs. We already know the shoot rule is 50 feet. Yeah, I'm gonna have to show them the stuff next week. I have a whole bunch of stuff. I mean, even if you look at these folders that I have here on my Facebook, this doesn't even cut the. One of my skill sets is collecting legal documents, so I can find them. And here is this was used in March 28, or this was used in the first complaint, and I called him corrupt. If you look up the definition of corrupt, it's definitely falls under the category. The post was cropped from Kendall and Casey's post about the E5 visas when Diego went to India with Raju for you. So it's not like I'm whatever they want to call these lies, they can call them lies. These are the complaints that I filed. So the other issue that me and Catherine had with these guys, and she just put a post out, she tagged me in it. I just saw a notification pop up. If Kelly Hewer and them are donating to Democrats, an organization that donates to Democrats to help them win elections, then how are these guys in good standing? Now, the Abdul case with the Flyers and the Lincoln Club just ruled something on, I think, last Friday. And so that case is moving forward. So this will be 2 lawsuits, maybe more, involving Hewers that have popped up in 2026 because they do not play fair. Even though she's this cute little librarian looking lady, she is not nice. And whatever. God doesn't like liars. And I even labeled this cast the first stone. So he who without sin cast the first stone. And she definitely does not care about what skeletons are in her and Pete's closet. And so they ignored this complaint. Okay, the D5 ignored that complaint. They ignored my complaint about Russ Willis, who also donated to the same Democrat organization. So if this is the kind of people that the Republican Party wants to represent them, more power to you. I have me and Catherine both have moral and ethical code that we like to follow, and we do not like being this mean to people. This is absolutely ridiculous that we have to even be here discussing this stuff. Russ Willis also, during the same time frame of all these other complaints, violated Joswiak. He's violated Rebecca Crooms. So it's not like we're the only ones telling you guys that he's a snaky snake. And now him and Mikhail obviously made up. So I don't even know what to say about some of this, but they have bypassed all my complaints. I even filed one about the Madison County Election Board putting a Democrat in a Republican position. They ignored it. Okay, let me get my little picture off there. So they ignored my complaints about Russ and the Democrat sitting in the seat. And, Republican in good standing. I didn't even know what a Republican in good standing was, or that this rule even existed until 2026, and I'm 40. I just turned 48. So I'm a little like, I can't believe this is the party that when the military asked me which one I aligned with, I said Republican. And right now I'm like, there's no way that this is the party that I almost took a bullet for. I mean, this is so childish. And so then I have a really huge complaint about how 14 of our Republican supposed elected officials used to be Democrats. That very definition of Republican in name only, in my opinion. And just because somebody has 2 primaries doesn't make them a Republican or a Democrat, because it goes both ways. Because I guess we got some Democrats around here that used to be Republican. Republican chair should not support Democrats running as Republicans. They shouldn't. So that was another complaint. Okay, I guess that was complaint number 3. They're ignoring that one. I filed the one about Russ and I have filed so many complaints. They just keep ignoring me. And now on February 12th, 2026, they changed the rules to the Republican Party right around the same time that the first complaint came out. And I believe it was to do some of the stuff that they just did to us, which is okay, fine, whatever. But they did it in such a way that you have to be a precinct committeeman or someone within the organization to be able to file complaints. So it doesn't matter if you catch them doing something, if you catch them breaking the law, which I can, or I wouldn't be this far if I didn't think I could beat them in a courtroom or in an investigation. But I filed, and it is what it is. Rules for me, but not for thee. So it should be equal enforcement is the foundation of party integrity, and they don't have it, you know? And then, you know, like what I'm learning about organizations and parties, you know, I mean, if you want me to have something nice to say about a political party or an organization, then it would be nice if you would give me, you know, something nice to say. So Kyle Pierce helped write some of the rules that are being weaponized against me and Catherine. Chloe and Agnos has been the antagonizing factor between a lot of heated debates, but then she plays victim more than anybody. And then the other issue that we have is Darren Reese was he also helped write these rules. See, I said I was going to get off here, but see, I have so much information to keep sharing, you guys. We got Chloe, who didn't even vote as a Republican. This is one of my favorites. She didn't even vote as a Republican in like 2021, 2020. Anyway, that might be Kyle Pierce. Nope, this is Chloe's. So, yep, you want to know how to weaponize a party. You want to know how to implode your own party. You put Kyle Pierce in charge. Thank you, Karen. I appreciate you guys for tuning in and listening to these rants and following through and supporting us. Yeah, so they supposedly got us right now, and they don't want to listen to our complaints, and we have some pretty good ones. Let me see one other thing before I go. Oh, there was that. Where did I see that? Right there. Okay. Here's the thing that the Liberty PAC people sent me this week. So I'm pretty sure that the Indiana Republican State Convention is over the committee. So this is going to be some stuff might be popping off this weekend. That's all I'm going to say. So just stay tuned. Watch for lives. Watch for lives this weekend coming from the convention from multiple sources. This one was pretty good. So I don't know if this is going to help us or not. But this says that the first convention of what would become the Indiana Republican Party at the time, the official proceedings of political party conventions were published in the newspapers. This is conclusive proof that the convention created the state committee and rules over it, not the other way around. So we're about to put this stuff to good use. We'll find out. If I'm not allowed in, you might see me with a sign that says something about the 1285 that we're just disenfranchised. I'm just saying, you may or may not. Okay, I do have the full album, okay, that shows you the stuff that they sent. I haven't put the other stuff from D5 and what they sent out this weekend. This shows all the stuff I've done over the years. So they try to make me out like I'm some mean, horrible person, you guys. And I do a lot for this community, so it's made a lot of people mad, the other people. Okay. And what was that other album I was looking at? Okay, here's the defamation stuff. If you guys want to follow along with the defamation, I know I can beat these guys in a courtroom. I'm going to put my money where my mouth is. And I have yet to lose some of these outright. That's why you see so many on my case record. Miscellaneous things, starting with the Democrat Kenneth Hobson from when he tried to sue me or steal my half acre. And let's see, lastly, okay, this is the complaint. Okay, so I did just filed a disenfranchisement complaint just in case things don't work out the way that we hoped this weekend. And I did file that Wednesday. I filed something with the FBI. I filed with the FEC. I guess, whatever. I filed it with a lot of different places. I filed something with the ACLU. I wouldn't be doing this if I was in the wrong. I would have already cowtailed by now and, kind of waved my white flag and moved on, but I'm not. I feel like I'm in the right. And I was picked to do one job, and I'm not going to let these guys stand in front of me at the moment. So it is what it is. I beat out a lot. I beat out Jennifer Culp, who's harassed me. I beat out Kyle Pierce and his wife, Chloe, and just is what it is. So at the end of the day, if you got to cheat to win, you've already lost. And this just tells me this is a prelim into my next campaign. So be following along for all the new adventures and side quests we get into, but I will be running next year regardless of what happens next couple weeks. So thank you guys for, just your overall support in the matter. And then let me go out. I know I'm probably going to get in trouble and get flagged, but like I said, even if I get flagged, I can cut this stuff out. So, thanks.